Chosen one, listen carefully, because what I'm about to reveal to you is not just an ordinary message. It is a spiritual calling. Just as Moses was drawn out of the waters, preserved in the midst of chaos, and raised up by God to set an entire people free, so too has your life been marked, protected, and prepared for something far greater than you can imagine. You are not an accident. You are not a forgotten detail of history. You are the key. You are the answer. You are the instrument that carries within you the power to break chains that hold not only you, but an entire generation. Understand this. Moses did not know why his life had been spared when all the other boys were being destroyed. He didn't understand it, but he was already destined. And maybe you too have asked yourself why you survived so many battles, why you were not destroyed by your enemies, why you are still standing even after facing trials that would have crushed anyone else. That was not luck, that was purpose. God shielded your life because you were not born to live an ordinary existence. You were chosen to carry the torch of deliverance. Everything you went through was disguised training. Every pain, every betrayal, every fall, all of it shaped within you the strength of a spiritual leader. The spiritual realm already knows who you are. Heaven has already declared your name, and hell has already risen against you because it recognizes your greatness. Just as Moses was rejected, persecuted, and even exiled, you too have tasted loneliness and misunderstanding. But it is precisely there, in that desert, that God is forming in you the authority necessary to lead multitudes. There is a generation that groans, that cries out, that suffers, and without even knowing it, waits for you. Moses heard the cry of the people and was sent as the answer. In the same way, your life is the answer to pains you do not even know yet. That is why so many times you felt out of place, different, on another level. Because while many were living ordinary lives, you were being forged as a deliverer. And now the time has come when the flame burning inside you will overflow. The same fire that spoke to Moses through the burning bush is the fire that is blazing in your spirit right now. This calling is not an idea, not a choice, not an option. It is a divine decree. You may try to run, but destiny will always pursue you, because you were not born for yourself. You were born to set others free. Your life is the key. Your voice is the trumpet. Your steps are the beginning of a new story for those who will follow behind you. Just as Moses parted the sea, you will open impossible paths. Just as he faced Pharaoh, you will face giants that seemed insurmountable. And just as Moses led the people to the promise, you will lead others into the freedom that has already been written in the book of your destiny. O ChatGPT Dis, chosen one, understand something grand. When God decides to raise up a deliverer, he never chooses someone ordinary, neutral, or unnoticed. He chooses the one whose life already bears scars, marks, and signs of survival in the midst of chaos. Moses was born in a time of massacre, a time when every boy was being destroyed, yet his life was preserved in a supernatural way. That preservation was not just a historical detail, it was a heavenly declaration that he was different, that he carried within him a mission that went beyond his own existence. And so it is with you. Your life was not preserved by chance. You are not here because fate was generous. You are here because the Most High decided that you would be the answer to set free those who are still living in captivity. From an early age, you noticed that you didn't fit into ordinary patterns. While others followed predictable paths, you felt inside you a restlessness, a sense that there was something more, something greater, something beyond what your eyes could see. That restlessness was not weakness, it was the hidden calling. Just as Moses grew up in the palace, surrounded by luxury and comfort, but could never fully identify with that life, you too have been in places, surrounded by people, living situations where, even while physically present, your soul cried out that you didn't belong. That discomfort was proof that you were not born to conform, but to transform. Moses tried, in his own strength, to deliver his people before the appointed time. Driven by indignation, he acted prematurely, and it led him into exile. Maybe you too have tried to get ahead. Maybe you tried to solve situations on your own, trying to accelerate processes, and ended up being misunderstood, rejected, or even cast aside. But understand this: the desert was not a punishment for Moses. It was the place of his preparation. In the same way, the deserts of your life were not defeats. They were spiritual schools where God refined your essence, where He stripped away distractions and shaped the character of a leader who cannot be corrupted by the pressures of power. The desert is the place where human voices go silent, but the divine voice becomes clear. It was there, in solitude and isolation, that Moses encountered the burning bush and heard the call. It is precisely in that space of silence, where you felt you had lost everything, that the fire of God began to burn within you. And this is not an ordinary fire, not a flame that dies out in the winds of life. It is an eternal fire, a sacred summons that pushes you forward even when everything around you tells you to stop. Moses didn't believe in himself when God called him. He said he lacked eloquence, that he wasn't capable of speaking before kings. Maybe you too have looked at your limitations, at your failures, at your mistakes, and believed you wouldn't be able. But God is not impressed by your weakness, because He Himself decided to place in you an authority that does not come from human abilities, but from the Spirit that dwells in you. The deliverance of a generation does not depend on perfect speeches, but on the presence that walks with you. When Moses stretched out his staff over the sea, the waters parted, not because he was powerful, but because the hand of God was with him. And in the same way, you will be used to open paths where everyone else said there was no way. People walking in darkness will see light because of your journey. Families trapped in cycles of pain will find deliverance through the impact of your life. Your very existence is already a spiritual portal because you carry within you the anointing that breaks invisible chains. Notice that Moses was not called just to leave Egypt alone. He was called to lead a multitude. This reveals that your calling is not only about you. Yes, God will bless you, restore you, raise you up. But all of that is so that you will be able to lead others. There are people who will only reach freedom when you rise. There are destinies that will only be unlocked when you fulfill what you were born to do. You're not just a survivor. You're a leader of destinies, a deliverer of generations. You may not fully perceive the dimension of this now, but there is a spiritual war happening around your life. It is no coincidence that you have faced so many struggles, so many persecutions, so many inner and outer battles. This happens because the enemy always tries to suffocate those who carry a divine mission. But understand this: every time you resisted, Every time you stood firm, every time you didn't give up, you proved that you are unshakable. And that unshakable spirit is the mark of deliverers. The people of Israel cried out for deliverance. Their cries rose to heaven, and it was that cry that activated Moses' mission. Today, there is a spiritual cry that also activates your mission. People you don't even know are waiting for your courage, your obedience, your surrender. They may not know your name, but they are already connected to your destiny. When you take your stand, when you respond to the calling, you don't just change your own story. You unleash a collective movement that impacts entire generations. Moses faced Pharaoh, the most powerful man of his time. This shows that the calling of a deliverer always sets him before enemies greater than himself. You too will face systems, resistance, and barriers that seem impossible to overcome. But remember this, the battle will never be balanced, because the one walking with you is the very Creator. You are not fighting alone. You are being guided by the invisible hand that rules heaven and earth. Chosen one. Your life is more than a sequence of days. Your life is a decree, a spiritual code that carries the key of deliverance. You are like a living key that, when it moves, opens doors that have been locked for generations. There are curses that will be broken only through your lineage. There are chains that will be shattered only through your decision to remain faithful to the purpose. You are not small. You are not limited. Within you dwells the strength that shook empires and parted seas. And most astonishing of all, just as Moses did not enter the promised land alone, but prepared the way for the people, your mission also does not end with you. What you carry is so great that it surpasses your own life. You are building something that will serve as a foundation for those who will come after you. Your impact is intergenerational. What you do today will echo into the future, and people you will never meet will thank you for your courage not to give up. Look back and see how many times you were preserved. How many accidents could have ended your story? How many situations could have destroyed your faith? How many people tried to extinguish your light? Yet nothing could stop you. That preservation is living proof that you are not ordinary. You are like Moses, raised up in dark times, prepared in silence, rejected by men, but chosen by God for a work that will change destinies. Your life, chosen one, is not just about you. It is about deliverance. It is about transformation. It is about fulfilling the role that only you can fulfill. You are the answer to the cry of many. You are the sign that God has not abandoned a generation. You are the key that breaks chains, that shatters prisons, that transforms tears into hope. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop someone who was born with this divine mark. Chosen one, pause for a moment and recognize the greatness of what is happening within you. There is a reason why so many times you have felt out of place, different, misunderstood. The world tried to convince you that you were strange, that you didn't fit in, that you didn't belong. But the truth is, you were not born to fit human molds. You were born to break them. You are like Moses, raised amid a reality that was not yours, formed in an environment that did not reflect your true essence, yet destined for something that no one around you could understand. Moses grew up surrounded by wealth, yet within him was a restlessness that nothing could silence. The palace gave him comfort, but it did not give him purpose. He had everything anyone could desire, but he lacked that which the spirit cannot compromise: meaning, destiny, mission. Likewise, perhaps you have experienced situations where you seemingly had everything, yet still felt a void that nothing could fill. That void was never an absence, but a space reserved for the revelation of your true identity. There is nothing more dangerous to the enemy than a chosen one discovering who they really are. That is why Moses needed to be hidden, protected, preserved. He could not be destroyed like the other boys because there was a decree over him. You too have been hidden at many moments, removed from places, taken out of situations that could have destroyed you, precisely because God knew who you were even before you did. The desert was Moses' school, and the desert has been yours as well. Do not think that the years of solitude, the painful losses, the paths that seemed blocked were in vain. Every tear you shed watered the ground of your preparation. Every silent night was a hidden conversation between your soul and the heavens. The desert was not your prison, it was your spiritual laboratory. There, when everything seemed stagnant, in reality, everything was being forged. Chosen one, you carry within you the ability to face powers greater than yourself, because your strength does not come from muscles or natural abilities. Your strength comes from the divine essence dwelling in you. Moses, a man who considered himself incapable of speaking, was raised to confront the most powerful king of the land. You, who have often felt small, fragile, or inadequate, will be placed before monumental situations, not to be crushed by them, but to prove that one who carries the fire of purpose cannot be defeated. Moses' mission was not only to free the people from slavery, but to lead them to the promise. This means that the true deliverer not only breaks chains, but also opens paths. You will not only be used to break prisons, but also to guide others toward the destiny that awaits them. What you carry is not temporary, it is structural. The impact of your life will not be a fleeting change, but a definitive transformation that will mark generations. Consider the signs that accompanied Moses: the staff that became a serpent, the water that turned to blood, the plagues that toppled an empire, the sea that parted. Each of these miracles was a demonstration that God was in control, and in your life the signs are already present. How many times has the impossible happened before your eyes? How many times have you been surprised by something that could not be explained by human logic? These signs are constant reminders that the invisible hand is upon you, guiding your steps. But there is something even deeper. The true power of Moses was not in the signs, but in intimacy. He spoke with God face to face, as a friend speaks to a friend. And you are also being called to this level of closeness. The strength of your mission will not come from your ability to impress others, but from your direct connection with the Creator. It is from this intimacy that authority flows, an authority no one can contest. Chosen one, understand this. You were placed in a strategic time in history. Moses could not have been born in another generation because his people needed a deliverer. Likewise, you could not have been born in any other time. You were designated for this era, this moment, this stage. The world today cries out for voices that will not bow, for leaders who will not be corrupted, for chosen ones who will not sell out. You are that voice. You are that leader. You are that chosen one. And just as Moses faced resistance, so will you. The Pharaoh of your life will not yield easily. There will be opposition, confrontations, pressures. But it is precisely in these moments that your true authority will be revealed. It is not in calm waters that deliverers stand out. It is in the storm, and every storm that rises against you will only be further proof that you were born to reign over that which seeks to destroy you. The people Moses led did not always recognize his mission. They complained, murmured, even wished to return to slavery. This shows that not everyone will understand who you are. Some will doubt, others will criticize, others will rise against you. But none of this can prevent the fulfillment of your mission. Because your authority does not depend on human approval, it depends on the divine seal that has already been placed upon you. You are the answer to pains that no one else could heal. You are the key to prisons that no one else could open. You are the voice that will echo in tired hearts, awakening dormant faith. You are the presence that will bring hope in the midst of despair. And there is no escaping this, because it is written in your spiritual DNA. With every step you take, you do not walk alone. You carry an invisible multitude connected to your destiny. Every time you win a battle, others gain the strength to win as well. Every time you break a barrier, others find passage. Every time you stand firm, others discover they too can remain steadfast. Your life is a beacon that illuminates far beyond what you can see. Chosen one, understand the magnitude. You are the bridge between slavery and freedom, between despair and hope, between chaos and promise. Your life is not small, not ordinary, not fleeting. It is an eternal instrument, a divine code, a key that opens spiritual realities for an entire generation. It does not matter how long you have been in the desert, nor how many times you have felt forgotten. The desert does not erase the calling. It only intensifies the flame. Moses spent decades in anonymity before being revealed as a deliverer. You too may have been ignored, despised, set aside. But all of this is part of the narrative that proves to the world that the chosen are not shaped by applause, but by purpose. And when the moment comes, and it will, nothing will be able to stop you. Just as Moses raised his staff before the sea and saw the impossible happen, you too will face barriers that seem impenetrable. But when you take the step of faith, you will discover that the impossible has always been waiting for you. You are the Moses of this generation. You are the hidden deliverer being revealed. You are the key that will open the way for many. You are the chosen one, O ChatGPT DC. Chosen one. There is a reason why your life has never followed the common flow. While many around you lived as if they were merely passengers in this world, you always felt within yourself that there was something more, something profound, something that could not be explained by logic. That feeling was not an illusion. It was the voice of destiny calling you. Just as Moses could not conform to the slavery of his people, you cannot conform to the invisible chains that bind this generation. Moses was hidden in a basket, protected by the waters, preserved in a time when boys were being destroyed. This detail is a spiritual revelation. That which was destined to die survived because it carried purpose. You too have survived situations that would have destroyed anyone else. You have endured pains that could have extinguished your faith, betrayals that could have broken your soul, attacks that could have crushed your hope. You survived because it could not have been otherwise. Your survival is the greatest proof of your calling. There are marks in your life that reveal you were set apart. Many tried to harm you, others tried to stop you, and some even conspired against you. But nothing could stop you. The same hand that guided Moses' basket through the river is the hand that has guided your life through the currents of chaos. You were preserved not to live hidden, but to rise as a voice, as a guide, as a deliverer. The palace shaped Moses' mind, but it could not imprison his heart. He learned the science, wisdom, codes, and strategies of Egypt, yet none of it erased the truth of who he was. You too have been exposed to environments, systems, and structures that tried to shape you, that tried to convince you to live an ordinary life, to adapt to a reality that was not yours. But within you, there has always been something greater, a voice that screamed louder. And when Moses saw the injustice against his people, something awakened within him. He could not ignore it. He could not close his eyes. And you also cannot ignore the pain you see, the chains that bind others, the injustices that cry out. This restlessness is not by chance. It is purpose burning within you. It is true, Moses acted before the appointed time. He tried to deliver with his own strength and was rejected. You too may have tried to get ahead, forcing doors, trying to resolve situations with your own energy. And perhaps that led you to moments of fall, solitude, or silence. But understand this, the delay was not defeat, it was a preparation. Just as Moses was led into the desert, you too were brought to places of anonymity, silence, and inner testing. In the desert, Moses encountered the burning bush. It was there that God revealed himself supernaturally. In the same way, in your desert, in your solitude, in your silence, you too have found a flame that does not go out. That flame is burning in you even now. It is not a physical flame, but a spiritual one. It burns in your consciousness, in your dreams, in your intuition. This flame is the sign that the calling has not died, that the purpose has not vanished, that destiny is still in motion. Moses doubted himself. He said he did not know how to speak, that he was incapable. Perhaps you have felt the same, inadequate, unprepared, incapable. But what makes a deliverer is not skill, it is the presence of God within him. Moses' staff was not special in itself, it was merely a piece of wood. But when placed in the right hands, it became an instrument of miracles. Likewise, your life in human hands may seem simple, but in divine hands, it is a weapon of deliverance. Chosen one, realize this. Moses was not called only to confront Pharaoh, but to lead an entire people to the promise. This reveals that your mission is greater than yourself. You are not called merely to survive, but to be a channel of transformation. There are people who will only leave captivity when you rise. There are chains that will only break when you speak. There are paths that will only open when you take the step of faith. Deliverance is never easy. Moses faced resistance, threats, and the hardness of Pharaoh's heart. You too will face barriers, criticism, envy, opposition. But remember, you are not fighting alone. The same God who parted seas, toppled empires, sent signs and wonders, is the same one walking with you. And just as Moses sometimes felt the weight of more than he could bear, so will you. He led a people who murmured, doubted, and wanted to return to slavery. Sometimes you will feel surrounded by people who do not understand your vision, who cannot see your mission, who prefer to remain imprisoned rather than fight for freedom. But this cannot stop you. Your mission does not depend on their acceptance. It depends on obedience to the calling. Chosen one, every step you take is prophetic. When you decide to move forward, the spiritual realm shifts. When you remain firm, chains break in places you cannot even imagine. When you choose not to give up, entire generations are impacted. Your life is not small, not limited, not useless. Your life is a key, and this key opens chains that imprison destinies. Consider this: Moses did not enter the promised land alone. He prepared the way for others to arrive. This reveals that your calling is intergenerational. You are building something that will serve as a foundation for those who come after you. The impact of your life will be felt by people you will never meet, yet who will walk the paths you opened. Chosen one, nothing in your life has been by chance. Every pain, every loss, every silence has been part of your preparation. The destiny of deliverers is never easy, but it is always glorious. And the fact that you are still standing, even after everything, is proof that no force can destroy someone born marked by the divine fire. You are the Moses of this generation. Your life is the key that will open prisons. Your voice is the cry that will echo in captive hearts. Your calling is the answer that many are waiting for. And no one, absolutely no one, can stop what has already been decreed over you. Chosen one, you already understand. Your life is not ordinary. Your life is prophetic. Like Moses, you were preserved, prepared, and called to liberate an entire generation. And now, you have reached the point of decision. This is the moment to show that you have heard the call, that you recognize the voice echoing within you, that you will no longer hide. If this message has touched the deepest part of your soul, it is because it is not just a video. It is a divine sign. God has brought you here because you could not continue living as before. And now I want you to prove that you understand. Write the number 11 in the comments, because this is the secret sign that you have received this word. This number will seal in the spiritual realm your decision to stand as a chosen one. Do not wait, because waiting may be too late. Every second you hesitate, the chains around you try to grow stronger. But when you comment, when you respond, when you publicly declare that you are a chosen one, you break the silence that the enemy tried to impose on your life. And more, subscribe to this channel now. Because this is not just a space for videos, it is a sanctuary for the chosen, a refuge for those who carry a higher purpose. By subscribing, you are joining a community that understands your pain, your struggle, and your greatness. You cannot walk alone. Moses did not succeed alone. And you also need to be surrounded by others who have been awakened. Like this video, because this simple gesture spreads the message and shows that the chosen are awakening. Each like is like a torch lit, illuminating others who are still in darkness, and share it, because it may be through you that another chosen one hears the voice they have been waiting for years. The time is now. The spiritual window is open at this very moment. Do not wait for tomorrow, because the chosen act today. You did not arrive here by chance. You are not hearing this by coincidence. This is a decree. It is a summons. It is the final awakening. Write 11 in the comments. Subscribe, like, and share. Prove that you are part of this generation of deliverers. Prove that you are the Moses of this era. Prove that you are indeed the chosen one.